Draconic blood flowing through your veins, you'll be able to specialize in an element, dealing more damage with that element type, as well as gaining resistance to that type of damage. You'll also get the ability to fly at will like a dragon. On top of having the powerful meta magic that only the Sorcerer can provide. Hey guys, Omaha here, and today I'm going over the Draconic Bloodline subclass for the Sorcerer. I'm going to show you everything you unlock for levels 1 through 12. Sorcerers are natural spellcasters, drawing on inherent magic from a gift or bloodline. As a Sorcerer, you'll get weapon proficiencies in daggers, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows, which will add your proficiency bonus to attack rolls with those weapon types, basically making it easier to hit. You'll start off with 2 level 1 spell slots, which are restored on a long rest, and then you'll choose 4 cantrips from Blade Ward, Acid Splash, Mage Hand, Poison Spray, True Strike, Friends, Dancing Lights, Firebolt, Light, Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp, Minor Illusion, and Bone Chill. And then you'll choose 2 spells from Burning Hands, Charm Person, Chromatic Orb, Color Spray, Disguise Self, Expeditious Retreat, False Life, Featherfall, Fog Cloud, Ice Knife, Enhanced Leap, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Ray of Sickness, Shield, Sleep, Thunderwave, and Witch Bolt. And while we're on the subject of spells, I've done spell guide videos for Evocation, Enchantment, and Illusion at the time of recording this video. So if you want to watch one of those after this, I'll link it down in the description. Then you're going to choose your subclass, and for the video I'm choosing Draconic Bloodline. Your veins carry draconic magic, the result of a powerful dragon ancestor. This is going to grant you 2 subclass features: Draconic Resilience hit points. So your hit point maximum is going to increase by 1 for each Sorcerer level. So at level 12 Sorcerer, you get 12 extra hit point maximum. And then Draconic Resilience. Dragon-like scales cover parts of your skin. When you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class is 13. The higher your armor class is, the harder you are to hit. Here you'll see my armor class of 14, 10 from base, then plus 3 from Draconic Resilience, and then plus 1 from dexterity. You're then going to choose your ancestry, so the damage type associated with that dragon will influence later features. So first up, there's Draconic Ancestry Red, Fire. So at level 6, spells that deal fire damage are more powerful, and you can become resistant to fire damage. It's also going to grant you Burning Hands. Then there's Black Acid, which has the same effect as fire, but for acid, and it'll grant you Grease. Then there's Blue Lightning, which does the same thing, but lightning, and it'll grant you Witch Bolt. There's White for Cold, and that'll grant you Armor of Agathes. Then there's Green for Poison, and that'll grant you Ray of Sickness. And there's all the elements again, but different colors and with a different spell. So there's Gold with Fire, which will grant you Disguise Self, Silver and Cold, which will grant you Featherfall, Bronze Lightning, which grants you Fog Cloud, Copper Acid, which grants you Tasha's Hideous Laughter, and Brass Fire, which grants you Sleep. Then you'll click over here to Draconic Bloodline. This is where you can add scales if you wish to do so. Here's the different types. You can have no scales if you don't want to have them. So that's what those look like. And then you can choose your color. So for red, these are your 5 options, but you can actually check this and choose from any of the colors. So there's some black ones, there's some cool looking blue ones. You got white, you got green, which looks really cool. Guess I should zoom in a little more so you can see those better. Copper, silver. So yeah, they look pretty cool, I think. You'll then choose your ability points. So keep in mind, Charisma is definitely going to be your most important ability as a Sorcerer. It's going to influence your spellcasting ability, and that's going to influence your chance to hit with certain spells. Then you're going to apply your skill proficiencies, and you can choose 2: Arcana, Religion, Insight, Deception, Intimidation, and Persuasion. All right, once you hit level 2, you're going to get your first health increase, your 3rd level 1 spell slot, and the class features sorcery points. You'll start out with 2 of those. So sorcery points can be used to alter your spells or create extra spell slots. You'll get 2 actions. So create sorcery points, which uses a bonus action. Spend spell slots to gain sorcery points. But for create sorcery points, the amount of sorcery points you get is based on the level of spell slot that you use. So at level 1, it's 1 sorcery point, all the way up to 5, where you can use a level 5 spell slot to get 5 back. There is no level 6 for this. Right now I have 16 because I already used a level 5, but I'll show you what a level 4 looks like. They all look the same. So there I lost a level 4 spell slot, and now I have 20 sorcery points. And then there's create spell slot, which also is a bonus action, and you can spend sorcery points to unlock a spell slot. You can create a level 1 spell slot for 2 sorcery points, level 2 for 3 points, a level 3 spell slot for 5 sorcery points, level 4 for 6, and then level 5 spell slot for 7. And then there's no level 6 for that. So here I'll use a level 5. Right now I have 1 out of 2. So I just used 7 sorcery points. Now I'm down to 13. And then now I have 2 level 5 spell slots. And you can actually go above your maximum with this. For level 1, I can use a level 1. go up to 5. So you're really limited just by your sorcery points. You'll then choose a spell from the level 1 spells I read off earlier, and then you'll gain 2 passives, which are your meta magic. So you start out with 4 options. There's meta magic careful spell, so allies automatically succeed saving throws against spells that require them. You can toggle that on and off at any time. When you toggle it on, it'll show you which spells it works for. So here I have Burning Hands and Acid Splash. So here I'll try it with Burning Hands on Shadowheart. And you'll see she took 6 damage. The damage roll was actually 12, so with Burning Hands on a save, they'll still take half damage. That's why she still took 6 damage. Meta Magic Distance spell. Increase the range of spells by 50%. Melee spells get a range of 30 feet. All right, for Distance spell, also toggleable. So if I equip Firebolt, which has a range of 60 feet normally, you'll see from there, it goes up to roughly the edge of this tent. If I toggle that on, goes out to there. So it increases it to 90 feet. And then for a melee spell, like Enhanced Leap, there's your melee range right there. Toggle it on. Gives it a range of 30 feet. Meta Magic Extended spell. Double the duration of conditions, summons, and services by spells. Extended spell is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to double the duration of anything like conditions, summons, and services. So Enhanced Leap, if I use that on Shadowheart, you'll see that'll last 10 turns. If I head over to Gale, toggle that on, use the same spell. It's now going to last 20 turns. And then Meta Magic Twin spell. Spells that only target one creature can target an additional creature. So that's going to cost 1 sorcery point per spell slot level used. And then cantrips also cost 1 sorcery point. A level 2 spell would use 2 sorcery points. And then a level 1 spell would use 1. 3 would use 3, and so on. For spells that don't shoot a projectile, the target needs to be close enough together. So toggle that on. Again, it'll highlight the spells that work with it. So here's Firebolt. You can target 2 different spots now instead of 1. And then you'll have the option to replace a spell, since you're limited on how many spells you can have equipped at one time. Level 3, you're going to get that health increase, your 4th level 1 spell slot, your first 2 level 2 spell slots. You'll get another sorcery point, bringing you up to 3. You'll then choose another spell, and now you have access to the level 2 spells: Blindness, Blur, Cloud of Daggers, Crown of Madness, Darkness, Dark Vision, Detect Thoughts, Enhance Ability, Enlarge/Reduce, Gust of Wind, Hold Person, Invisibility, Knock, Mirror Image, Misty Step, Phantasmal Force, Scorching Ray, See Invisibility, Shatter, and Web. And again, I have videos on 3 of the schools already, so if you want to see those, they're in the description. You're then going to get another passive, so this will be your 3rd one, and then you'll have some more options this time. So you have Meta Magic Heightened spell, so targets of spells that require saving throws have disadvantage on their first saving throw, and that's going to cost 3 sorcery points per spell. So here with Heightened spell, if I want to use Acid Splash on Shadowheart, it's 55%. If I toggle that on, it'll be 80%. So it's just going to give them disadvantage on the first saving throw against that spell. Then there's Quicken spell, so spells that cost an action cost a bonus action instead, and that's going to cost 3 sorcery points per spell as well. With it off, Burning Hands costs an action, toggle it on, bonus action. Easy peasy. And then you have Subtle spell. You can cast spells while silenced. And that's going to cost 1 sorcery point per spell. And then finally you have the option to replace another spell. Level 4, your health's going to go up again. You'll get your 3rd level 2 spell slot, your 4th sorcery point. You can choose your 5th cantrip. You'll be able to choose another spell from levels 1 and 2. You can replace a spell, and then you'll be able to choose your first feat. As far as recommendations go, ability improvement, I pretty much will always recommend. Getting your charisma as high as possible is huge. Elemental Adept is also really good. Selecting probably fire if you're the fire type, because your spells will ignore resistance to fire damage. In addition, when you use a fire spell, you can't roll a 1. So selecting whichever element you went in with in the beginning is a pretty good idea for that. And then selecting like Mage Initiate Warlock to get some more cantrips like Eldritch Blast, which is really good. That's a pretty decent idea, but there's a lot of ways you can go with it. Leave some more recommendations down in the comments for everybody else if you have a good build for the sorcerer that you want to share. Once you hit level 5, your health's going to go up again. You'll get your first 2 level 3 spell slots, and then you'll get your 5th sorcery point. You'll also be able to choose another spell, and now you'll have access to the level 3 spells: Blink, Counterspell, Daylight, Fear, Fireball, Grant Flight, Gaseous Form, Haste, Hypnotic Pattern, Lightning Bolt, Protection from Energy, Sleet Storm, Slow, and Stinking Cloud. And then finally, you'll be able to replace a spell. All right, level 6, you're going to get that health increase, your 3rd level 3 spell slot, your 6th sorcery point. You're going to be able to choose another spell from the first 3 levels. And then you'll get 2 subclass features. Elemental Affinity Damage. So when you cast a spell that deals damage of the type associated with your Draconic ancestry, you add your Charisma modifier to the damage. So right now with a Charisma of 17, I have a +3 to Charisma checks. So all my fire spells, since I'm the fire ancestry, will deal +3 damage. All right, so here if I use a Firebolt on this guy, Hit him for 21 damage. You'll see here I rolled a 17 because it was a 3d10, and then it added 4 from my charisma modifier for that elemental affinity additional fire damage. And that charisma modifier right now is +4 because I have a charisma of 19. And then there's elemental affinity resistance. When you cast a spell that deals damage of the type associated with your draconic ancestry, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage type. If I use that, I would only take half damage from fire type damage. So here I'll use a fireball. Once I use that, it'll ask me if I want to use elemental affinity resistance for 1 sorcery point. So I do that. And then I gain fire resistance until a long rest. And then you'll have an option to replace a spell again. Level 7, your health's going to go up again. You'll get your first level 4 spell slot, your 7th sorcery point, and then you'll be able to choose a spell. Now having level 4 spells, Banishment, Blight, Confusion, Dimension Door, Dominate Beast, Greater Invisibility, Ice Storm, Polymorph, Stone Skin, and Wall of Fire. Then you'll be able to replace a spell. Level 8, get that health bump, your 2nd level 4 spell slot, your 8th sorcery point. You can choose another spell from the first 4 levels. You can replace a spell, and then you can choose your 2nd feat. Once you hit level 9, your health's going to go up again. You'll get your 3rd level 4 spell slot and your 1st level 5 spell slot, as well as your 9th sorcery point. You'll be able to choose another spell, and now you have level 5 spells: Cloud Kill, Cone of Cold, Dominate Person, Hold Monster, Insect Plague, Seeming, Telekinesis, and Wall of Stone. And then you can replace a spell again. Level 10, health's going to go up again. Your 2nd level 5 spell slot. You'll get your 10th sorcery point. Your 6th cantrip. You can choose another spell from the first 5 levels. And then you'll get another meta magic that you can choose. You don't get any new ones this time, but you can choose a 4th one. And then you have the option to replace a spell. Wow. All right, here we are at level 11, where you're going to get a health increase. Your 1st level 6 spell slot. Your 11th sorcery point. Choose another spell. Now you have level 6 spells: Arcane Gate, Chain Lightning, Circle of Death, Disintegrate, Eye Bite, Globe of Invulnerability, and Sunbeam. Then you'll get the class action Fly. So now you can use Fly with a range of 60 feet, and all it's going to use is movement speed. The Fly is pretty self-explanatory. You can move up to 60 feet. Get up to hard to reach places. And then in combat, it's just going to use your movement speed, just like walking would. So you can use a combination of the two to get to areas, or you can just use fly or whatever you want. And then finally, you'll be able to replace a spell again. Finally, we have level 12, where you're going to get your last health increase, your 12th sorcery point. You're going to be able to choose another spell from 1 through 6. You have your last chance to replace a spell, and then you can choose your 3rd and final feat. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. It spreads the video out so other people can see it. Also, be sure to check out some of my other subclass guides and some of my spell guides. Let me know down in the comments what other kind of videos you want to see from me. Thank you guys again so much for watching. We'll see you next time.